Hello, and welcome to another Luminous Flow tutorial. My name's Tim, and today I'll be guiding you through how to set up a snap step using Flow. First off, we need a grabbable object. As a rule of thumb, if you can grab an object, you should also be able to snap it. So our template grabbable is also fully set up with snap functionality. Find the grabbable sample and drag it into the hierarchy. Then move it up in the scene to the place you want it to be. We're next going to need to make sure that the snap logic is set up correctly. First off, we need to ensure that the object has a snap ID on the snappable middleman script, just here. In this instance, I'll give it an ID of 1. The ID allows you to tell the graph which object you would like to snap. If multiple objects have the same ID, any of them can complete the step. Next, if you scroll down on the object, you'll see the snappable object script just here. In here, you can put a unique string, which will allow you to lock snap zones to certain objects. Here, we're just going to use the name of the object, so in this instance, wheel key. Now, we're going to add a snap zone to the scene. Again, we have a sample of this already in the project for you. Simply search for snap zone sample and drag it into the hierarchy. An easy way to ensure that it ends up in the correct place is to add it as a child of your correctly placed snappable object, reset the transform to 0 so that it occupies the exact same space, and then remove it as a child again, placing it elsewhere in the hierarchy. This will ensure that it is no longer a child of the object and in the exact same position. Snap zones also have unique IDs. This is to help identify them for failures in the graph, in practice mode or assessment. So we're going to set this to 1 as well. Now, in order to lock a snap zone to a specific object or objects, we need to give it a partnered prefab. To do so, we can drag the grabbable object we just created and reference it here, where it says partnered prefab. This then uses the string we set earlier on the snappable object script to see if an object is allowed to snap to this zone or not. As mentioned earlier, any object with the same string as the referenced object will be able to snap here. If you would like the grabbable object to start in this snap zone, you can also reference it here under current snapped object. Finally, if you would like the snap zone to be unlocked, as in able to snap any object to it, you can untick this toggle here where it says only allow partnered prefab object ID. This way, it will ignore the snappable object script and the string on it. You can also, if you wish, adjust the size of the box collider on the snap zone. The size of the collider on the snap zone and the size of the collider on the grabbable determine how easy it is to snap something, as these have to overlap or collide in order to register a snap. Now, in order to demonstrate the snap, we're going to duplicate the snap zone we just made and rename it to snap zone destination, as we'll need somewhere to move the grabbable to. It should be noted that if an object is already in the correct snap zone when starting a snap step, the step will complete instantly. First off, we're going to give this snap zone a different ID, but we're going to leave the partnered prefab as the same object. This is because we want both of these zones to accept the same object. We don't want the object to start here, however, so we're going to change the current snapped object to none. Now, we're going to open up the graph and create a snap step. Drag from the start node and add a snap-on zone step. Once this appears, you'll see we need a reference to the snap zone we would like to use to complete the step, as well as an ID for a snappable object, which as we said earlier is 1. Then, connect it to the next step. Here we just have a UI to show that we've completed the step correctly, and then we're going to reference the snap station UI transform from the hierarchy so that this UI appears in the correct place. We're then going to add a highlight object node to highlight the object we'd like to snap, so reference that just here. Toggle the highlight and give it an undo step so that it stops highlighting again once you finish the step. We also want the UI to tell the user what to do, so we're going to add a show display, give it the message box UI prefab that we've set up for you, and then we want to set it to set location and reference the correct UI location again, in this case the snap station UI. Finally, you want to fill out the display data with what we'd like to see on the UI itself. What we also like to do for snap steps is to add a little indicator of where you'd like the object snapped. Our sample snap zone has a child called highlight parent, which contains a copy of the wheel key model, but with a transparent green shader, which we refer to as a snap zone highlight. At the start of the snap step, we turn this on so the user has a green indicator for where the object should be placed. We do so by adding a set object active state node to the graph, then referencing the highlight parent from the destination snap zone into the node and toggling it on. We also add a set hand menu text action node so that the handheld UI also gives the step instructions to the user should they prefer to look at that. Now we're going to close the graph and test what we've made. Here you'll see the UI has appeared, the grabbable object is in the right position and highlighted, and the green highlight on the second snap zone has appeared. As you see here, placing the key back into its original snap zone does not progress the step due to their unique IDs. Placing the object in the correct snap zone here completes the step and gives us the completion UI. And that's how you set up a snap step using Flow. If you have any further questions, please check out our other videos or our documentation.